Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Mika Danielle and I am back with part 2 of my journey with passing the NBCOT COTA exam. If you have not already, please be sure to check out part 1 of my journey with passing the COTA exam. The tools that I used to pass the COTA exam on my second attempt. Number 1, it is the missing piece of OT. It is abbreviated TMPOT. It is an online program that helps you break down and analyze test questions. If you click on the website, they give you options that can be suitable for you and your learning style. If you do not want to purchase the content bundle, which is what I purchased, you have the option to purchase the study guides. If you don't want to purchase the study guides, you can purchase the quizzes, the tests, or you can book a session for a private tutoring session. And the content bundle package, which is what I chose, it is a 6-week program. You meet 3 days a week for 1 hour going over a topic that you find challenging. And within that 1 hour, you go over 10 test questions, I believe, with breaking down the question, understanding the question, and how to come to the correct answer. You do that in the beginning, and then the remainder of the session is going over the topic of choice. Next, I used the COTA examination book, commonly known as the purple book. I purchased that on Amazon. In that book, it is 5 practice tests, all 200 questions. I used that. A lot of people don't recommend this book anymore because it only has the 4 answer choice options. If you don't know, the NBCOT exam now has 6 answer choices versus 4. Now with this book, it is strictly just tests. If you need more practice tests, this is a great book. And last, I recommend the NBCOT Aspire. So when I purchased this program, I wasn't too crazy about it. But I was like, well, if they are the ones writing the test, why not use their study material? So with their study material, I did purchase the entire program, and I want to say it was like $90, I think. It wasn't that expensive. It wasn't as expensive as the TMPOT. So with the NBCOT Aspire, I only used the matching, did the matching games. I did the mini tests or mini quizzes, and I did the practice tests. So the reason I purchased the NBCOT Aspire is because they do, with their practice test, they give you a score similar to a score that you would see with the actual exam. So the actual exam, when they score you, it's not a pass or fail. You have to get a score of 450 and above. When you take the practice test on the NBCOT Aspire, it's a 200 question test, and they give, wait a minute. I think it's 100 or a 200 question test. And they give you an actual score, a number score. So that's why I purchased that. I wanted to get like an ideal or a more realistic score to what is similar to the scoring of the actual exam. If you watched my first video, you would know that I did not have an ideal study plan. So I took my first test in July, the end of July. I took some time off from studying to regroup and refocus. I signed up for the Missing Piece of OT study program, 6-week study program. That started the end of August. So with the start of the Missing Piece, you are provided with a pre-test. It is just to give you an idea of where you stand at now prior to starting the program. I will say the questions for the TMPOT are a little bit challenging, but not too challenging. So once you take the pre-test, the owner of the program usually posts the pre-test a week or 2 before the actual program starts. So my program started on a Monday because my classes, the tutoring session were Monday, Wednesdays, and Saturday. It would start with the breaking down the question segment, which was 10 questions. We would have to answer 10 questions within like so many minutes, and then we go over the questions and break them down to the right until we got the right answer. And then once we finish that segment, we would start the actual tutoring session of whatever topic we have for that day. So the days that I did not have my tutoring session of the missing piece of OT, I would use the purple book to do the practice test. Now remember, with the purple book, it is 5 tests, all 200 questions. So the first 3 tests, I took my time. I would only do 50 questions a day. After 50 questions, I would go over the questions, see which one was right and wrong and why it was right and wrong. And then I would review the study guides that I got from the missing piece of OT. All together, I was spending more than 2 to 3 hours a day studying. So now fast forward, we at the end of October. I am now done with the TMPOT program. I have taken the post test and I did see an improvement in my scores from the pre-test. So I'm like, okay, the TMPOT, I'm seeing some improvement. Once the program is over, you do have access to all of these study guides for 60 days. So what I did was I printed them and I still have them today. I'm gonna show you guys what some of them look like. I highlighted them a lot. So yeah, I still have these study guides. I still go back and use them throughout my journey working as a COTA, just sometimes to get treatment ideas, because with the study guides, I do like that she provides different treatment interventions to use. So once I was done with the program, I continued with the purple book and I continued to do the flashcards and the matching games on the NBCOT Aspire. So between the middle of October through the end of November, I just used the purple book. Once I got closer to my test date, that I decided and I was feeling more confident. The last 2 tests that I did in the purple book, I timed myself for 4 hours and I took my time to answer the 200 question practice test, because remember in the first video I mentioned that time was the issue for me. So I made sure this time around that I knew how to manage my time under pressure. And then for the NBCOT Aspire tool, I continue to use the matching games and the mini quizzes, and you only get 3 or 4 practice tests. I think it's 3 practice tests on the NBCOT Aspire. I made sure to only take those practice tests at certain times, because once you take those practice tests, you can't retake them. So I saved the last practice test until a week before my actual exam. That way, so I could see where I stood at. And the first 2 practice tests, I was so close. I was getting around the same score that I got during my first attempt. I was getting between a 435 and a 440. But during my 3rd test, I actually passed with like a 478. This is my 3rd practice test with the NBCOT Aspire. So that gave me a great confident boost that I needed, because that was my last practice test before I went in to take the actual exam that following Thursday. I did more practice tests than looking at the study guides. When I did take my practice test, I would always make sure that it was quiet and keep my phone on silent and away from me, out of my view. I would go to watch YouTube videos on OT Miri and OT Rex. And by that time, my second time around with taking this exam, I was back working at my part-time job. So luckily my part-time job was an office job. So when I was in the office, I would listen to a podcast called the OT Exam Prepper. I listed the TMPOT, the COTA examination book, and the NBCOT Aspire. Those are the 3 study tools that I use to help me pass the COTA exam. If you don't want to purchase all 3, I would highly recommend the NBCOT Aspire That would be my number one chores, and then the next would be the NBCOT. Those are what I used to pass the COTA exam on my second try. If I had to do this all over again, I would use the same study tools that I just mentioned in this video. Another thing that I would mention about the missing piece of OT, yes, it is a online study tool or online study program. I would also consider it a motivation study program. They also offer relaxation techniques. That's all I have for this video. These are the 3 tips that I use to pass the COTA exam. If you have any questions, please comment below. And thank you all for watching this video and supporting my channel. I will see you all for another video. Take care.